I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video I want to talk about one specific project that I think is really interesting, and that project is Heroes of Mavia. As you probably know, if you've been following my channel, I talk a lot about crypto gaming and NFTs, especially when there's an overlap between both. And that's because I think that those areas will perform best in 2022. Of course, I still have my portfolio of Bitcoin and other larger cap coins, but I think the most exciting area is going to be around crypto gaming and NFTs. And this particular project has all the key ingredients of what I think is required for a project to be really successful. And that's really strong fundamentals, a lot of hype built around it, and fitting the narrative. And I think the narrative of 2022 is very much gaming and NFTs. In terms of hype, well, they have some really strong partnerships, and I'll be talking also about the way they're doing their whitelisting process. I think they have a really clever idea how to build a really strong community. And when it comes to fundamentals, well, they have a really good team, they have really great product, and also they have some clever ideas, especially when it comes to the tokenomics, which I'll talk about in more detail in a minute. So let's have a look at this project in detail. So here you can see Mavia's website, and the easiest way to describe it is essentially a combination between Clash of Clans and Axie Infinity. So if you imagine Clash of Clans, but built on the blockchain, well, that's more or less what they're going for. So they're taking ingredients from two very successful games, taking the best parts from them to combine them and create something unique, something really successful. I think that's a really good strategy, because at the end of the day, very often the most successful products, the most successful projects are the ones that are not necessarily completely original from scratch, but the ones that actually take bits from other successful projects, and combining those best bits, they create something that's really, really good and also in its own way unique. I think the best way to explain the idea behind the game and the most unique points about it is to go through the game deck. So as you can see, well, the goal is to take the advantage of the booming NFT and crypto gaming market. Pretty obvious, makes perfect sense. As I mentioned earlier, the idea is to combine the best elements of Axie Infinity and Clash of Clans. And I won't be going through all of them. You can pause the video here and read them through. But like I said earlier, it's a really clever, solid concept. Just take the best bits from two successful projects and combine them into something unique and possibly even more successful. And the idea behind the game is that you own a plot of land, and on that plot of land you build your own base, which you then have to develop, defend from attacks, and of course you attack other bases to create essentially more in-game wealth. There are two tokens, Mavia and Ruby. They haven't been launched yet. Mavia token is due to be launched relatively soon. I think there was mention of February, but there's no clear date set yet, and there is no information on which platform it will be launched, on which launch pad. Ruby token will be launched much later, I think in Q4 when the game is actually out. And that's because both of those tokens have very different utility. Ruby is the in-game play to earn token, and the idea behind it that it's supposed to be almost like a stable coin. The goal is to keep the value of one Ruby around $1. And of course the value will fluctuate, but it's supposed to be relatively stable. And this is a reward token you earn in the game, and you use it primarily in game to upgrade your NFTs. So there is incentive to spend your Ruby in the game rather than take it out of the game and sell it on an exchange. And I'll go through the model in a second. Mavia token is a bit different. It's the token you use to purchase the NFTs, and it's the token you get for selling your NFTs. And in fact, you can buy in-game NFTs only using Mavia token, so that will be creating the demand for this token. And you can also stake it, and what's clever about it is that you can stake it without fees. So you don't have to worry about outrageous fees on a Ethereum blockchain for staking, unstaking, and so on. So this makes it really attractive, because essentially it takes out one big downside of that usually is involved when it comes to staking. There are 3 different types of NFTs, and the first one, which will be launching soon, is the land. So the first lot of land plots will be out towards the end of this month, towards the end of January. You can still get on the whitelist. The whitelist closes, I believe, on the 20th of January, so it has still about a week or so. And then I think the winners will be announced on the 23rd, or the people who get the whitelist. There are a few different ways to get the whitelist spot, and I'll actually jump to the Medium article. I'll put links to all of those in the description so you can check it out. And if I scroll it down, there are 4 different pools. So there'll be 2,000 spots, and 300 of those will be available through creating art, 900 spots by creating content about Mavia, and it's quality content rather than simply posting Mavia is great on Twitter or something like that. It's about creating more in-depth informative content. And also there are options to, well, as always, to participate in the community in their Discord, and there are 700 spots, and there are 100 spots left for influencers. So I think that's really interesting, because instead of the normal just grinding and posting pointless content or inviting tons of random people to Discord, well, the idea is that you actually create something, you promote the project, you dig deeper into it, you find out more about it so you can create content about it, for example, or you can help others learn about it. And I think this is good for building really solid community. And that goes back to what I said earlier about creating hype around the project. They have some really strong partnerships. The project was already mentioned by Elliot Trades. Of course, he's a huge YouTuber, so that's really good. I heard some rumors about some other partnerships, but because I'm not 100% sure if they're confirmed or not, I will not mention them. But as far as I'm aware, there are really, really solid partnerships there. And that, of course, will help massively with driving hype around it, but also, well, the community is absolutely essential. And I think this way of doing whitelisting helps a lot with building really solid community. There will be only ever 100,000 plots of land to sell. So comparing to some other projects, that's quite a limited number of plots if you think about other projects that sell plots of land. So those plots will likely become really valuable in the future. And when you participate in a whitelist, the first batch is the tropical land. And as you can see, you can apply to get either common, rare, or legendary. You can specify which one you want, but of course you are not guaranteed. If, let's say, everyone wants legendary, well, there's pretty good, well, of course not everyone will get it. But because the price varies depending on the type of land, of course not everyone will go for the most expensive option. And the plots of land, well, the more unique the plot of land is, the more interesting features it will have. But also, it's not like legendary plot will give you huge advantage in the game. Basically, what it does is you have better chances, you have a bit more luck, you have better chances of finding ruby tokens on that plot of land. So, for example, when there will be when you'll be digging out trees or rocks from that plot of land to make space for your base, there is higher chance that you will find some ruby there. But that's the main advantage, and of course the look and, well, the rarity of the land itself of owning legendary or rare plot of land in comparison to tropical. So it's not like it will give you a massive advantage in the game, which I think makes sense because, well, at the end of the day, you don't want something where you can just simply pay your way to the victory, right? So let's go back to the game deck. So land will be the first NFT available for sale. And then there will be also heroes and statues. So you can have up to 4 heroes per base, and you can have only 1 base on 1 plot of land. And of course, heroes can be upgraded. It's in the same way the base can be upgraded. Heroes will have some unique features, some unique skills that help you either in attacks on other bases or in defending your own base. And then there are also statues, which they essentially act as a boost. They give you some sort of a boost to your base. So things like just various base statistics, essentially production rates and so on. And of course, all of those will be tradable, and I'm sure some of them will end up on OpenSea, but also Mavia will have its own internal marketplace, which will be much more cost efficient, and that's where you will be buying and selling using Mavia token. So that's what will be, essentially the idea is that as many of the sales will be happening internally on that internal market. So your base NFT gives you a few different options. So each player can own as many plots of land as they want, as many as they can afford, but on each plot of land they can only build one base. And because of the way the game works, there is incentive to essentially upgrade the base as much as possible. So there's incentive to spend Ruby in order to earn more Ruby. And there are a few things you can do with your base. You can just run it yourself. You can rent it out to others, almost like an Airbnb. So essentially you agree a deal with someone when someone is using your base for a certain period of time, and it will be also in their interest to upgrade your base. But whatever they will get during that period of time, so whatever Ruby they will find, or whatever attacks they will conduct successfully, or whatever defenses they will conduct, any rewards will be going to them. But also they cannot put your base in any worse position than it was when you started. Any of the statistics like wins and losses are attached to the player rather than the base itself. And also they won't be able to essentially destroy anything in your base or sell anything in your base, so they can only upgrade it, and in fact there will be incentive to upgrade it, but they cannot damage it in any way. So it can be a really good way of earning passive income, renting out your base, especially if you don't have time or willingness to play yourself. And then finally, you can also create a partnership with someone. And in this case, there is a split in rewards, and essentially you share the base. And that's a good way for other players to enter the game without actually spending any money on the land. The only thing is that they have to present a case why you would want to get into partnership with them. So essentially, if it's a strong player, then you'll probably want to partner with them because there will be benefits for you. And there is a plan for a link between Mavia and Clash of Clans. So essentially, if someone has a really solid profile in Clash of Clans, that information could be fed to Mavia. So it almost becomes like their CV in Mavia world, and therefore it makes it really attractive to go into partnership with them because you know that they're a strong player. So that gives quite a lot of options how people can participate in the game. And then of course with heroes and statues, well, you can keep upgrading them, and you're upgrading them as you also upgrade the base by spending the Ruby token. So like I said, there is that incentive to spend it in game. And of course, as you upgrade your heroes and your statues, they're becoming more and more valuable. And because they are NFTs, you may want to at some point sell them on the marketplace. So there is a lot of incentive there to essentially develop your in-game assets so they are becoming more valuable. This slide here shows how the Mavia and Ruby ecosystem exactly work. And I suggest that you should check it out. Go to the website, go to this deck, and have a look at it, or just pause the video and look at how it all is supposed to flow. Essentially, the idea is, like I said, that any Ruby tokens that are earned in the game or dug up or won and so on are being minted. And although you can sell them, well, you can take them out to your wallet, to your MetaMask, and then potentially sell them on an exchange. If you do want to take it out of the game, withdraw it from the game, you will pay 15% fee, which will be burned. So essentially, you're losing quite a fair chunk of your tokens by taking them out to your wallet. At the same time, if you buy some Ruby tokens on an exchange, you get extra 10% when you deposit them in the game. So there is incentive to do that when the price of Ruby is quite low. Essentially, buy up on the exchange and you get more in the game. Any Ruby tokens used in the game, so any tokens used on upgrading, are burned, and any new earned tokens in the game are minted. So the idea is that you sell your NFTs on the marketplace without a fee, and then you have Mavia token. You will have much larger market cap. So that's the token that's designed to flow out of the game, while Ruby token stays in the game. So the idea is that you only utilize Ruby within the game. So I think this is a really clever concept where Mavia is used essentially to buy and sell NFTs, rent bases, stake, and so on, while Ruby is used purely within the game to buy upgrades, skins, and so on. And I'm really looking forward to see how it will work in practice. Like I said, Mavia token will be available quite soon. I believe February is currently the planned release date. Ruby token will be released much later when the game is actually out, and that will be in Q4 of 2022, or at least that's the plan at the moment. So you can also see here what are the use cases for Ruby. So like I said, all sorts of upgrades, process speed ups, purchasing gold and oil, which are other resources you will need in the game to build, to upgrade, but you cannot then sell them on outside of the game. Skins and decorations and so on. And you earn Ruby by winning an attack, successful defense, which can happen when you sleep, when you are not playing, if your base has strong enough defense. Digging up obstacles that will appear on your land, like I said, rocks, trees, and so on. And that's where the rarity of land comes into play, because the more rare the land is, the higher the chance that you will find Ruby, or the more Ruby you will find. There will be also some challenges. You can partner base with other players. And what's really cool is wagered matches. So basically you and another player can battle each other, and you can both put the same amount of Ruby, and the winner takes it all. So that would be a really cool way of earning more Ruby, and it would be really interesting to see how this will work in practice, how well it will work. Here we can see the options I mentioned before. So you can buy and sell bases, you can rent them out, and you can create partnerships, but I talked about that earlier. And also, like I said, there will be, within the game, there will be a marketplace. So that's when you don't have to worry about gas fees, because it will be all done using the Mavia token. It will be done in the game, so you don't have to pay fees on OpenSea, like 2.5% fee on OpenSea plus royalties and so on, which can take quite a fair chunk of your profit. Here, by trading it all in game, well, you end up getting Mavia token, and of course you can sell that on an exchange. So I think overall this game has a lot going for it. As you can see here, it's a big team of people. It's not just a couple of guys or ladies in a garage trying to make something, which is also cool, but in this case it's a proper big team, proper big game studio. They're really aiming for that AAA quality graphics, really strong gameplay, something that's really addictive, something that you really want to play. And they have some really clever ideas. Like I said, the tokenomics, the idea with those two tokens, I think that has a lot of potential. I think it will work really well. The in-game NFTs, the in-game marketplace, the fact that you can stake without fees, I think there is a lot going for it. And I mean, even things like the whitelisting process I've mentioned, I think that shows that they really care about creating something unique, something with really strong community, and something that will do really, really well. And I'm personally really excited about this particular project. I'm hoping to get a whitelist spot for the land sale. If I succeed, I will most definitely be buying minting land. And I'm looking forward to the launch of their token. I will be making videos in the future about this project to give you an update, what's going on, when the token is going to be released, and so on, and when the new plots of land are coming, and etc. I think that they have a very realistic time scale. So essentially the beta testing will occur, I think, over the summer, and then the game will be out towards the end of the year, or the public beta will be out Q3, Q4. and then the game is supposed to be out towards the end of the year, and that's also when the Ruby token will come out. So of course it's not a quick flip, not something that you can buy and sell in a week or a month. It's a bit of a longer play, but these are the best gaming projects in my experience, not the ones that have a massive pump straight away and then nothing happens. It's best when all sort of starts quite slow. It's a bit of a longer term project, because of course developing good games takes a lot of time. So I'm really bullish on this one, really excited about this one, and yeah, really excited to see where it goes. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment section, and if you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.